Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to the KnitChat Cafe. My name is Noelle, and this is my friend,
Kelly.
And we are coming to you from Southwestern Ontario, Canada. And this is our regular Tuesday night get-together in the coffee shop with all of our friends. And yeah, so we're here. I see lots of people had lots of good chats going on there, especially about the weather.
Yeah, it's pretty cold in the coffee shop
like
tonight.
Spring. It is. It does not feel like spring, that's for sure. Not yet.
Joy was in here, Anne started us off this morning with the chat, and she said that it is snowing in New York. And Linda says that it is also snowing in Ottawa. And she's looking forward to tonight, though. So she's happy to have her knitting. And then finally, we got a good weather report from Joanne in Minnesota. And she said that it's quite a nice day there. So send that good weather this way, Joanne. We could use a little warmth right now.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely could use some warmth, but at least it's a little better. Yesterday was snowing here in the afternoon. So and quite windy. So
it was ground cover when I left the office in Brigden. It was ground cover. Not happy to see that in April.
No, we had some laying on top of the pool cover, and it's like, oh, this is April. Like, as much as I've said before, I do love winter and I do love snow, but by the time it gets to April, it's like, okay, I'm done. It's now supposed to be spring. So.
And we have poor Jackie out there covering her daffodils tonight to try to cover them. So
yeah, that's the problem. You get a couple of warm days and everything decides it's time to come up, and then you get a chilly day, and it's like,
yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, we know we never plant here until after the May long weekend.
No.
Like if we're planting any annuals, they don't get planted until after our May long weekend, which is around the 20th of May. So until that's over, you're still not guaranteed that there's not going to be any frost overnight. So
that's right. That's a big planting weekend here, like in our area for a lot of people. I never plant on the May long weekend. I may purchase in and around that time, but they stay in the garage where it's warm before. I usually wait another couple of weeks before I get anything in the ground because, you know, the weather's unpredictable.
Yeah.
So.
Yes. So, okay. So we want to say a warm welcome to everybody. We're so happy that you choose to spend time with us. And we also want to say thank you to everybody that actually comes after the fact and watches us after.
Yes.
We really appreciate you taking the time to tune in and see what was going on. So big welcome to everybody. Where do we want to get started with?
Well, there were a couple of questions in here tonight. Okay. I can pop these up. Maybe we can answer these ones quickly. I saved this one just for you, Noelle, because Wendy wants to know, does anyone have suggestions?
Where it feels like butter.
Finding a cashmere yarn in a pretty pale, buttery yellow. Because we
I
know
have no problem with yarn looking like butter. So I'm pretty sure she wants it to feel like cashmere and not butter.
Yes. And
anyway,
you just recently knit with some cashmere. Was
I did.
yellow
it's
available?
This that I've got on. It had lots of colors. I can't specifically remember whether there was a yellow in it or not. This is the Cardiff Classic, so it's a DK weight. It does have quite a lot of colors in it. Mm-hmm. It comes in 25 gram balls. It's super soft. It's gorgeous yarn, but yellow is a pretty popular color this spring, it seems like. So I wouldn't be surprised. Or someone had said they thought they saw something in Knitting for Olive. Knitting for Olive does have their compatible cashmere, so you might want to go in there and check out whether they might have a yellow in that. But offhand, I can't think like automatically of something that there's not really a whole lot of brands that are strictly like 100% cashmere. If you're looking for 100% cashmere, I know Clinton Hill cashmere, but I honestly can't remember if they've got. They didn't, but that doesn't mean that they don't now have a buttery yellow color. So if you find us, let us know. So
yes, for sure.
I've been thinking about a yellow sweater, but I'm just not sure yet. It would have to be the absolute bright color of yellow. So.
And Joy is wondering, does anybody have a good pattern for a felted slipper for a man? She looked on Ravelry, but she didn't find anything, and she thought that would be something that her husband might like. So if anybody has some suggestions,
well, I know Julia did.
Julia did.
Julia did.
Yes.
They were ones that you kind of do a double slipper, and one side fits into the other, and then you felt it down to the size that you want them to be. But I can't remember the name of it. I know she did it in I believe it was like a worsted weight sand and scarn yarn. I think it was Fritz garn that she used for it. But I don't know if Julia's in here. Maybe she can pop up the name of them.
Okay. And
they did. They looked really nice.
Okay. Sarah just reports that at the Knitting Loft, there is yellow in the Cardiff Cashmere Classic. So that might be a good spot for you to look. Okay.
Okay, Sarah's got a name up there, but I don't know if that's the actual. I know it was a Norwegian name.
Are we talking now about the slippers again?
Is that the slipper
pad? Okay, Booble Toffler. Yes.
So.
Okay.
But that might be something to try out.
Yes. And Isabel is back to the cashmere. She said the Cardiff cashmere is 100% cashmere, and they have two yellows, one called split pea and one called brass. So there you go. A couple of options in there. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, there you go. There's Julia's comment here. So it was it was the Sand and Scarn Fritz garn, and it was Dubla Tolbert. So I knew it was maybe it's Norwegian. I think it's a Norwegian name. And the
slippers looked so good. Now, so Julia did some embroidery, but you don't have to do that.
Yeah. So I think they actually, when you're done them, they almost look like the glare up slippers, except you've just got the regular woolen sole as opposed to like a suede sole or a rubber sole. But I mean, you could always add the suede patches on the bottom if you want to be a little bit less slippery. So
Hilda also says Fiber Trends felt clogs is an old pattern that works well as okay. If any other suggestions come in, we'll pop those up too.
Okay. Was there any other questions on that you had highlighted?
You know what? I did get a question, and it's on Instagram, and I don't have access to Instagram right now. So I'm so sorry, Maris, because she sent me a message this week and asked me to ask something on here. I don't remember what it was. So Maris, if you happen to be in here tonight, feel free to ask it and I'll watch for it. And if not, I will for sure bring it up next week. Sorry for that.
Okay. And Julia says that the number 3 Dobla Toffer pattern is free on Ravelry. So maybe I'll link that in the show notes.
Sounds like Toblerone
to me. That's interested. Yeah, it does. I know. Okay. I had a couple of questions. One was about sock heels, but this was basically just comparing a shadow wrap short row heel to an afterthought heel, and which one did we think fit better. What I like about the afterthought heel is that you can add extra rows before you start it. So you've got a little bit more control over the depth that you make the heel. When you're doing a short row heel, you're kind of limited to the number of stitches that are on your heel unless you increase prior to starting that short row heel, like for whichever way you do the short rows, whether it be the shadow wrap or a wrap and turn or a German short row. If you want more stitches, you have to make sure that you incorporate that before you actually start doing the heel. So other than that, the basic shape of that heel is pretty similar. Like it
is.
So I can't say which one really fits better. Again, it depends how you modify it. Again, the fact that I like the afterthought one simply because I can make it larger by adding extra rows before I start it. So
So I have a high end step. Talked about it forever. And when I do the afterthought heel, I add 5 rows of straight knitting before I go and proceed with the heel stitches after I've picked up. And then, but the shadow wrap heel, it seems to be a shallower heel, admittedly. However, I've done quite a few pairs of socks in it now, and I find it fits really well. So I'm not really sure how to explain that difference, because I know that my afterthought heel is deeper, but they both seem fit wise to fit me pretty much the same. So.
Okay. I saw a lot of questions in here about knitting needles and planes. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be that there is any set rule specific to encompass all airlines. A lot of times you are just at the mercy of whoever you've got going through that security checkpoint. And I don't know about you, but I'm not going to argue with them. Like, especially if you're in another country, it's probably not a wise thing to do. I usually take wooden, or I've got some of the, what were the ones that we bought? What was the brand? The Prim, that
The
are
Prim,
the
the
plastic.
plastic.
I take
Yes.
those for the plain just to be on the safe side. I know lots of people that have said they've taken their metal ones and not had them taken. I also know people that said that they've taken their metal ones and had them taken. I also know someone else that said the airline specifically said no needles at all. So that meant nothing. So,
What would you do on that flight?
Not be happy, but a crochet hook. I'm going to stick a crochet hook in just in case.
Yes. Yeah. Fair enough. I've never had them taken. I would probably cry.
I have not ever had mine taken either, but like Ross had a little, it was like a pocket knife thing that he had, like a little Leatherman tool that he had hanging on his belt. And on the same trip, and he hadn't even thought about it, but on the same trip he went through on the way there, they never took them. They took them on the way back.
Right.
So it's just, there's no definitive, you're just kind of at the mercy of whoever's at the, so, but again, I usually have mine on something that it's easy to take the knitting off it if I have to, in case I do have to throw them away. Usually I just have socks and I bring wooden needles to work them on.
Yeah, I try to do that. I mean, it depends, but then there's been other times, I just carry my sock bag through with me. And honestly, there's probably 5 or 6 pairs of needles in there. And
I know, but
I haven't had a problem. But that one,
you can't guarantee that.
Absolutely not. So that one time that I got really, self-assured, that's probably where I'm going to end up losing all my needles. I should be more careful, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the advice is. You can try to look on the airline to see if there is any specific information, but I really think, I don't even know if, to be honest, I think it all comes down to the gate agent. And
yeah, exactly.
So even if you found it on a website, I mean, their decision is going to be the ultimate call. So you may have to surrender needles. So just,
and I think
cautious.
I think sometimes the more you argue with them, the more you're putting yourself in a
worse situation because they don't want to be argued with. Yeah.
No, that's right. Sure. So, okay. And then the next question was about our show notes and where do you find them? We have them linked under the video. However, if you can't do it that way, there is a website. We do have a website and they're all listed on there. So if you go to, just a minute, I'll bring up the website.
I'll grab it.
Okay. The website is knitsandpieces.ca and all of the show notes are listed by the date that they were, the date of whatever Knit Chat Cafe that is. So the front page just has a whole list of them. You click on any one of them, it'll bring you to the show notes for that particular episode. So if you can't find it through the direct link under the video, the show notes usually do not go up until like 24 hours after the show because I have to do them, send them to Jacqueline. She has to put them up on the website. So if they're not there immediately, they will be. So, okay. And then the last question that I had was about dyeing some of the Elite Spun Mohair, which I have not tried yet, and how we thought you could do it. If I'm going to try it, I'm just going to try it with like Wilton food coloring. But I know people have suggested RIT dye. I don't know how well that would work. I do think with the RIT, you have to constantly stir.
Yes.
And I don't know how that would do with a skein of yarn, whether you'd end up getting it. You'd want to make sure it was tied off in enough places so you wouldn't end up getting it tangled. I have done a little bit with food coloring in the past and citric acid to set it and have had relatively good luck. I wouldn't say it's definitely not as color fast as yarns that are dyed with acid dyes, but I don't want to get into acid dyes in my house. So I don't know if anybody else has tried it or has any ideas. I mean, I guess you could try some natural things too, like avocado pits but again, even the natural dyes, I think you have to have some sort of mordant to help them attach to or bind to the fiber. So, but if anybody does it or, has any luck with anything, let us know and we will get that information out to people.
Okay. So, just to revisit a couple of these previous questions, Emily says that Sarah from Two Pearls in a Pod has a great podcast for felting those Dobler Toffler slippers to the right size. And I think that's pretty key. I have made a total of 1 pair of slippers that I felted, and this was many years ago. I used the right felting yarn, but then I I knit the top of the slipper in something that did in felt, so I didn't have
Okay.
great results. I subsequently tried to dye those slippers using the RIT dye, but because I was using 2 different yarns, my dye experiment was not very successful. And as I said, this was many years ago, and I knew not so much as I know now. So wouldn't repeat that, but also, Peggy says that another great pattern for felted slippers is Felted Clogs AC33E by Bev Galeskis.
Okay.
And she mentions the Purl Together has a good tutorial for those as well. So that's a couple of other options that you could check out. And
okay, so Nikki says she's dyed with Kool-Aid and with food dye, and they both work super well. The thing with Kool-Aid, at least here in the store anymore, you can't get the regular Kool-Aid that we used to get when we were kids. It's all pre-sweetened now. We used to be able to get the packages that were, and it did work because I had dyed with that in the past, but the stuff, at least the only way I could find the other was to actually order it online from somewhere. I couldn't get those packages just in the store anymore. So.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
All right, and Sharon has another question. She wants to know if you have a good sock pattern for a 5-year-old.
I just know stitch numbers and do a sock for that particular stitch number. But we had this question last week, and a lot of people suggested the Everyday Sock by Andrea Mowry because it goes down to baby size, or DRK Everyday Sock. It starts at small sizes and goes up, and it is ribbed, so it gives you a good snug fit all over the sock. So that's probably a good one to try. And plus, I think with a rib sock too, you can probably do it a little bit bigger so that it would fit for longer. So.
Okay. All right. I think, did you have anything else for questions?
Nope, that was good.
I think that's it. Yeah.
That was good. Okay. So maybe we should talk a little. Oh,
hold up. Carol says Lens Mill Stores carries the unsweetened Kool-Aid.
Okay.
Of course they do.
There you go.
So there you go. If you are near a
nobody drinks it anymore. They just dye with it. That's if you can dye with yarn with it. What is it doing to the insides if you drink it?
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Okay. Carrying on.
Maybe we should get some comments started and then we can pull periodically through.
Absolutely. That's a great idea.
Okay.
Did you want me to pull the slide up now?
Yep.
Okay.
So this past week, I believe it was on the 4th, actually, Nancy Wheeler from KnitSipHappy has released her Booble sock pattern. And it is a fundraiser until the 12th. And she's going to just donate all the proceeds from the 4th to the 12th to Canadian breast cancer research. So Nancy has done this. I believe this is her 3rd year. So she's got a couple of other patterns as well. The new one is called the Booble sock. Previously, she had the Titty Gaga sock last year, and Tits Up was the year before. So if you buy any one of those 3 patterns, the proceeds go to Canadian breast cancer research up until the 12th of April. So we think that that's a phenomenal fundraiser, and we're going to give away some patterns. So but we still want you to go and buy the pattern if you don't get it. So if you can afford to, we're not telling everybody to go out and spend money, but if you feel so inclined, and we know that breast cancer is something that has touched so many of us, not even just the people who actually get it, but families, children, like it's so far reaching that it would be amazing to have an end to not see people getting it. So
yeah, absolutely.
So I haven't started my Booble socks yet, but I do want to do them.
I've started mine. I'll show those a little bit after, but
okay.
So
we are going to give away 5 patterns tonight, and then we're also going to give away 5 patterns for everybody that watches after the fact. So for right now, if you want a chance to win the Booble sock pattern, all we want you to do is hashtag in
Booble. Hold on, I have to put that down.
The banner down. Yep.
There we go.
Just hashtag Booble. Maybe I should say, don't Google Booble.
Yeah, not bobbles, Boobles.
Boobles.
It's such a cute pattern. It's such a cute pattern too. It really is.
Yep. So if you want to just type in hashtag Booble, and make sure you put it the way we have it. I don't know if case means anything, but it's all in lowercase with the hashtag before it. And we will draw 5 names tonight. And again, if you're watching after the fact or you don't win one of the patterns tonight, all that you need to do for next week is just leave a comment. We won't even put that you have to say anything specific. Just leave a comment and we will draw 5 more pattern prizes before we start next week.
Yes.
So, okay. So while that's going on, maybe we'll talk about what we're wearing.
Okay, let's do that. So,
okay. So these will still collect even if we put this down. So keep typing in there. Okay. So do you want me to go first?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. I am wearing the Calypso. This is a pattern by Black Cat Knitting Company. So this is Alana, who owns Lupine Wool Co. in Auckland, New Zealand. And I bought the yarn that I did it in when I was down there, the Spin Cycle yarn. So this is one skein of Spin Cycle up here, and it's in her store colorway. And that colorway is Miss Rumpius. And then the main yarn that I've got in this is Queensland Collection Kathmandu Fingering in the colorway Oyster. And I've got a picture just so you can kind of see the whole sweater. I don't normally wear it with shorts, but obviously I finished it in the summer and that's when I took the picture.
I'll bet you're not wearing it with shorts today.
I am not wearing it with shorts today. And so it's got 3/4 length sleeves, which you could easily make into long sleeves if you wanted to. It's got a really nice picot edge around the bottom hem, and it's got a nice picot edge around the top. Now the original pattern, you start knitting, you do the picot, and then you fold it over and then continue. I only had 1 skein of the Miss Rumpius, so it was very close. So the underneath facing of mine, I actually did with my main color yarn, and I didn't switch to the Spin Cycle until the top of the picot. Mm-hmm. And I think I had maybe less than a yard of the Spin Cycle left. So I used every drop of that Spin Cycle yarn. So it's so satisfying when you do that, but nerve-wracking as you're getting to the end of the
right
pattern.
Yeah, it always feels satisfying to win at Yarn Chicken. Yes.
Yeah. And I know I say it all the time, but I definitely would knit this pattern again. Like I really enjoyed knitting it. I love the pattern. I could see it even in a like a fingering weight yarn and shorter sleeves just for like a summer t-shirt version, as well as extending the sleeves and doing like a more warmer winter version. And I do think she has a pattern out called Calypso Worsted now too. So this one is more like a fingering to sport weight, but I do believe she has a worsted one out now too. So yeah, so really nice pattern to knit, and yeah, just enjoyable color work. And I think down at the bottom, I might have done a little bit of ladder back jacquard, but for the most part, most of the floats are not really long. So you really don't have to worry too much about catching floats.
That is one that has been like on my list that I've wanted to do for a long time. And I just haven't gotten around to it, but
yeah, I really like it.
And I think I even have, well, I'm positive I have some yarns that would work well with it. And I just realized that I didn't load those pictures. They're loading now. Yeah, so I think I'm positive I have some yarn that would work really well with it that I would like to use. So, okay. And I am wearing an oldie but a goodie. It's funny. I have 2 Love Note sweaters, and I wore the other one last week, not on here, but I wore it to work the other day. And then tonight I thought, oh, I'm having a Love Note moment. So I pulled this one out of retirement. So this is the Love Note by Tin Can Knits. And I made this one quite a while ago, actually. And it's using the Emma's yarn. It was a Hella Hank, which is 150 grams of a fingering weight yarn. And the colorway is Orbit. And I used every last ounce of that yarn. In fact, I had to find another color that was very similar to bind off. My last row, I lost at Yarn Chicken. And then I held that together with Emma's Marvelous Mohair in the colorway Wish You Were Beer. And you know, I have used that Wish You Were Beer mohair because I only used 63 grams. Is that right? 63 grams. And I would have had they must have been 50-gram hanks, right? Or the balls
The
and the mohair.
The mohair are
Yeah.
50, yeah.
Yeah, 50. So I only used 63. So I had, almost 40 left, 37 left. And I have used it in a hat. I've used it in mitts. I've used it in socks. I still have, I believe, 8 grams of that sock yarn left, or of that mohair left. It was like the skein that never ends. And I really like the color. So the underlying color, and you can see it a little bit in this picture, I noticed like the orbit was actually almost like a cream color yarn with these little pops, like these fleck pops of blues and some darker browns in there. Really, really pretty. But then when you held it with the mohair just really took over the color and turned the whole sweater to this gorgeous, not buttery, definitely not buttery, but it is a darker, more amber, like a fine whiskey kind of color, a really nice shade. And I wore this one a lot, and then I haven't worn it so much lately, but I've been pulling it out to wear again, these Love Note sweaters. They're like a classic sweater that I think they're timeless. They're,
Yep.
crops. You can wear them with you can make it longer, but you can wear it with a lot of things and just change up the colors and whatever you want to do. They're great patterns. And again, the Love Note goes all the way from
baby,
a baby up to an adult, right? And
I've done
you've done a couple, and you've made different types of yarns. What are some of the yarns you've used for yours?
Well, I've used like just a plain DK, but like a one that's got like a little bit of halo to it. I've used like mohair held with like a fingering weight yarn. I believe that you've done yours with like a mohair held with like whole super soft, which is a more rustic-y yarn. Is that a ranunculus? What is your burgundy one?
The burgundy one's ranunculus.
Okay.
My other Love Note is a single held with mohair.
Yeah. So you could use you can use like a rustic yarn held with the mohair. I've seen lots of people have done them with the Surrey. And basically any DK weight yarn. So you just got to get that DK weight sort of combo. So whether you make it up from holding yarns together or whether you just use a straight DK weight yarn, you'll just get a different look in your sweater.
Yeah.
So
Isabel has a comment here. Funny that you should mention this, Isabel. So I had done a little tutorial, and I can put the link. What are we at for time? 27:35. I'll put a link above for that if anybody is so inclined. It's a way to do a central double decrease where the stitches lie flat or flatter than usual. And I can link that for you. But coincidentally, I didn't know about that method when I made this sweater. This was one of the earlier sweaters that I made, Isabel. So my CDDs do not lie as flat as I might like them to either. But Isabel says that now she has learned that method. That's what she exclusively uses. And it does make a nice flat method for that. So thank you for mentioning that, Isabel.
Okay, so maybe we can go and we'll draw a couple of prizes before we move on here.
Okay.
So we've got 239 entries. Okay, so Katie Herendine. Congratulations, Katie. I'm just going to pop your name down here. And we'll draw one more.
Okay.
Okay, Emily Costello. Yay, congratulations to both Emily and Katie. And in order to get your pattern, we will have you email us at knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com. And I will give you a code to use to get the pattern. So,
So if you've already entered, you don't need to enter again. We're going to keep going. But if you haven't entered yet, by all means, type in #Booble if you would like one of those patterns, and we will draw 3 more before the show is finished.
Yeah. So, okay. So do you have any finishes?
I do.
Okay.
Two.
Okay. I have 2.
How many do you have?
Go ahead. I have 2.
All right. So I finished, where's my banner? I finished my Ode to Barbara socks by Summer Lee. And I have to say, I can't wait to wear these ones. I'm chuffed about these. Let me pull them out from the pile. Here we go. So I've got 2. Oops. You would like to see the lacy panel maybe. Okay.
Oh,
I have 2 of them. They
yeah,
they
really
are
nice.
so gorgeous. And this is the Ginger Snap yarn, their yak base, and the color is pinky pink. And so the one side of the sock has this lace going down the side of your foot, and then the other side is all ribbed. And I'm trying to remember now, though. I don't know if the original pattern had twisted rib or not. I started these a long time ago. I started them before the whole wrist debacle. I got one of them knit fairly quickly and then had to stall out. And I didn't have a lot left to do on the second one, so I wanted to get them finished up. So I've been working away, but that lace pattern is really, really nice. And so I did do a twisted rib again. I don't remember if that was in the pattern or not at the top, but I like the way it looks, and I like the way it lined up with the 2x2 ribbing down the leg. Has a traditional heel flap and gusset, which I think was in the pattern. Gosh, I should have looked at the pattern. Sorry about that, friends. Anyway, it's by Summer Lee Designs, and this was based on, she had another pattern, an original Barbara pattern, and then she went back and did a revamp. And I think that this lace stitch used to go down the center of the foot, and she's moved it to offset onto the side, and I really like it. And I think you get both options with the pattern too. So that if that's something that you're interested in, but this yarn, like, can you see in there like those darker bits? I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but those,
you can see it.
Those darker bits, that's the yak. And we love any fiber that has those dark bits in there. It really gives a very unique depth to the yarn. And this feels so soft and luxurious. So I cannot wait to get these on feet and start wearing them. So I'm happy to have those finished.
Good.
Okay,
so I have some more Tiny Tree socks by Summer Lee, again, by Summer Lee. Kelly's socks were Summer Lee. These are little socks by Summer Lee. So I finished 7 of them this week.
Okay.
So this first little one is West Yorkshire Spinners is no, not West Yorkshire Spinners. Barocco Vintage Sock is the heel toe and the little bit at the top of the cuff. The main is Fleece Artist Cottage Sock in the colorway Cardamom. Okay, then this one is really cute. So this is a Leo and Roxy. I believe it was called Tardif in the blue. And then the color for the main sock is Life in the Long Grass, whatever their like 80-20 sock is. And I think the colorway is called Sweet Nothings. It's hard to remember all these because these are from I don't know when. And then this little one is a Koigu, just one of their
little minis
all over patterns. And I must say the Koigu yarn is, first of all, it is 100% merino, so that doesn't make it the best yarn for socks, but their dyeing is pretty consistent.
Yeah, it is.
So their yarn, basically the yarn like this, the KPPM or the KPPPM, comes in 50-gram skeins. And then this one is the Leo and Roxy Tardif, but I put sparkle at the top.
Oh, so cute. So cute.
See that sparkle up at the top of the sock.
You could probably use that Koigu with a mohair, don't you think, for socks though?
Yeah, if you were going to do socks with that, yeah. Then this one is a lace weight yarn that I got in New Brunswick back a whole bunch of years ago from Heidi Wolfret, who is London Wool Co. And it is held with Leo and Roxy mohair in Patches to Patches. So
okay, I'm impressed that you can remember these.
Yes, and then this one is, I don't remember the colorway, but the variegated yarn is Madeline Tosh in their sock yarn, which originally did not have, again, it's just 100% super twist merino. And then this is the little curio balls by, remember we got those? Who were they by? Universal. The Universal Curio, Curio minis.
Yes.
Then this one is another one with mohair. So the base color was a pale blue, and it was Manostel Uruguay Marina, and it was just, I can't remember the color, but it was just a soft blue. And then the mohair that I held with it was a Riverside Studio mohair that was just kind of like a grayish color with little flecks of purple and blue in it. So that's my 7 for this week. So I'm up to, I have 42 done.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's really good. Are you on track, or what's your math?
Well, that was 6 for April. I only have 6 more to do for April, and I'm going to get those done this week, so I won't have to worry about them when I go away.
Okay, fair enough.
So they will be all done and caught up. So
good.
And again, these take about 4 grams. If you're looking to do them, they take about 4 grams of yarn. It's a free pattern by Summerlee, and it's going to make a really cute like Advent.
It is. It's going to be so cute.
Advent sock clothesline.
Yes. Yeah. Socks for days. Socks for days. Yeah.
So yes, but I am on track.
Okay. So Glenda mentioned that the Barber sock that I just showed, it is a 1x1 rib in the pattern. I guess I changed that up. I'm not always a huge fan of a 1x1 rib in a sock. I will generally switch that up to, my favorite is a 2x2, but if I'm feeling adventurous, and I knew that this yarn was really going to have great stitch definition. So then I will do a twisted rib, which is not my favorite ribbing to do. You do them a lot, not my favorite.
I'm doing twisted 1x1 rib on all those little socks.
I'm not a fan of it, but I do like the way it looks. And on certain yarns, I think it really shows off on the yarn. I think it's a great look. So
yeah. And someone had asked, I'm doing all the little socks. I'm doing them on the flexi flips, which I find pretty easy to work on the flexi flips.
Yeah, they would be great for that, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They really would be. I haven't pulled my flexi flips out. I've got to stop. I have to stop. I have to get off those 9-inch, I think. Gail had mentioned, how's my hand? Well, my hand's getting worse. And I don't know if that's because of some catering help that I did on the weekend. Breaded 300 chicken breasts out at the Brigden Fairgrounds for a banquet, and I was really sore the next day. And this week it's getting more sore, and it's actually moving back into my thumb. So I'm starting to get a little panicked, because that's when we had like the full breakdown of it. So I haven't been doing a lot of knitting. I've been really just trying to like take it easy. Probably I should put down the little sock projects and get back to something bigger if I want to do a bit of knitting. But I have been doing a fair bit of sewing, and the sewing doesn't hurt. So apologies for not having as much knitting content. I'm like hoping, I'm still trying to actually reach out to the doctor and get the results from my MRI so we could move forward. But the sewing. So again, apologies for not having much knitting content, but hopefully you enjoy the little bit of sewing that I've been showing, because that's kind of what I've been up to lately. But all right, so the next thing I have is a sewing project, and I showed this last week, and it's now finished, and I am in love with this. I think this is so stinking cute. I'll show you some photos after, but this is a runner that I made for our house, the little carrots, and yeah, so it's just a nice little Easter runner, and all quilted, and then appliqued the little carrot tops on the top. So I did a little bit of patchwork. I got the inspiration on Instagram. Simply Eileen she had done like sort of just a single little runner like this. And I thought, I could make that into something that would cover our whole table. So then I thought, what else can I do? So I used some batiks and did some different things. But I think it's this rickrack. This rickrack really makes it. But anyway, I'll show you just a couple of pictures. So you can sort of see what it looks like laid out. And it is pretty cute. Even Mike, who doesn't comment on things like this, said that's pretty good. I like that. And then there's just one more picture with some tulips and things that I got on the weekend. But anyway, so we are rabbit ready here at the O'Connor house. If he should choose to come by and leave some chocolate for my husband. But yeah. Okay.
So I have one more finished object. I don't have it with me. I finished Isla's birthday sweater. So it was the Marion Girl by Tyga Hilliard, who is Cashmere Junkie on Ravelry. And I've just got some photos. She loved it. So she
how could she not? It was adorable.
she put it on as soon as she got it, and over her mermaid costume. So she put it on. She had gotten a mermaid costume for her birthday, so she had the little sweater on over the mermaid costume. And then there's what the back of the sweater looks like. So it's got like
adorable
little cables that kind of flare out. So it's a really cute little sweater to put over top of like a little sundress or whatever in the summer. So she chose to accessorize it like this with her Minnie Mouse and jewelry and sunglasses.
Perfect.
And the girl loves sparkle. So, and she did, that's how she, Rachel had sent me a picture. Where is it here? Did I put that one in? How she wore it to school. Maybe I didn't put that one in. Anyways, but the same pattern, I'll just show you what it looks like there. So the front is kind of cut away. So it just kind of falls and just hangs down the sides. And then you've got all the detail of all the kind of the work in the cables down the back of it. And then I put this little jewel button closure up at the top of it. Now, this is the same sweater that I did years ago, and this is Isla. And on my Instagram posts, I think some people thought that it was two different babies, but this is Isla 6 years ago. And I made the same little sweater, but just in a plain pink. So there's the sweater from, I think that was in the 0 to 6 month size. And the one that I just made her now was the 6 to 8 month size.
Very
so it's
cute.
It's a really cute little cardigan. And yeah, so she really liked it. And the yarn that I used to do it was, this one here is Estelle Yarns worsted. So it's basically similar in composition to the Barocco vintage. So it feels super nice, but you can see this is kind of like a gray and a white cream colored marl. And then I held it with the King Cole Cosmos in the colorway Starburst. So the two went together really well. This is the second skein, so it only took like 1.5 skeins of the Estelle and then the comparable amount of the lace weight in the King Cole. So
looks so good.
Yeah. So yeah, she liked it. She didn't complain about the sequins itching. Like I said, she's worn it for 3 days straight now. So I guess it must not itch too much. So yeah, but it's a really cute little cardigan, especially for, like, it was really cute in the baby size, and it's kind of nice when they're babies not to have a whole bunch of stuff here. So when they spit up or whatever, it's not a big deal. Now that one, I did do the size 6 to 8. However, I did do one more increase in the flare out, and I did knit it longer because it's supposed to be even shorter, just like a little shrug up here. But I thought, well, if I make it longer and it's got the shorter sleeves, it'll fit her for a longer period of time.
Yeah, for sure.
And people had asked, this designer does actually have a couple of similar cardigans to that in adult size.
Okay.
Someone said they thought it would be a nice cardigan in an adult size. So if you check out that designer, there is choices in an adult size. So, oh, Sharon's saying there's even a Marion skirt.
Marion skirt too.
Yeah. So.
And can you say again the name of your scarf? Somebody was asking.
Oh, the scarf is I actually put a banner in for it. It is the Rosetta by Auguste Knit. And I'll just show you, this is a little button here that Ross made for me. So these are just made with.
Oh, is that one of those Chicago?
Button, and then nope. It's just a magnet. These are these powerful earth magnets. So apparently you're not supposed to use them if you have a pacemaker. I don't. So at least not yet. But anyway, this is so it actually the magnets hold really well because that's like a couple of layers of and you just stick that on the back and it stays. So it's kind of nice rather than have to tie a double bow in here. Yeah. And I'll take this off and show you it. I definitely recommend this pattern. So this took exactly 1 skein of the Cardiff Cashmere Classic, but it is a brioche knit.
It's really nice, really good.
And it looks, because it's the brioche, you still, like, even on the wrong side, you still have a nice design on the wrong side. So it doesn't kind of matter how you tie the scarf around. Yeah. This cashmere, I will be buying more of this cashmere. It is so soft. It's like amazing. And it does come in, I was looking, I think someone looked there too. It does come in a lot of colors, and it just feels like when you put it on, like there's nothing around your neck. So definitely recommend it. Okay. So how about we pull a few more before we move on?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And it closed
Uh-oh.
Okay, I'm gonna have to open it and we're gonna have to type in again. Okay, you talk, Kelly.
You didn't get that, excuse me, that yarn. That's not from the Knitting Loft, is it? No.
I got it. No,
No,
the
okay.
Knitting Loft, actually, I don't know if they've got more in, but they were also sold out. This I actually got at Muskoka Yarn Connection in.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because what I was going to say is there are a couple of sale-worthy sales coming up at the Knitting Loft on the weekend, the weekend of the 25th, 26th. They are having some big in-store specials as well as some online specials after the weekend, I think. And there's an opportunity to win, I think, a $500 giveaway card. So that's something that you may want to check out. Okay. I think people are typing. Do you already have?
You need to type in again. I've already set it up. You do need to type in again.
Okay. There we go. All right.
Just bring it up there.
And then also, Little Red Mitten, they have a couple of sales coming up. So they have their anniversary sale coming up this weekend, I believe on the 12th. And then the weekend of the 25th and 26th, they are having their Flock Together event. And that is in St. Thomas. They're at the hotel there. And I'm trying to think what it was called. Was it a Holiday Inn? I believe it was a Holiday Inn. I'm thinking.
I don't know. I haven't been there. So, or was that what it was last
and you won't
year?
be there this year either.
No, and I won't be there this year either. So I don't know.
Yeah. So they had their first Flock Together last September, and now they're hosting a spring Flock Together, another event. So if you're in the area and you want to come by for that, that will be a lot of fun. I'll be going. So a couple of sales coming up in the area if you're looking.
Okay, so we'll give it like just one more minute. So again, I apologize, but if you typed in previously before we drew, somehow or other I closed it out, so you have to type in again. So we'll just give it another minute. Okay, do you have any whips?
I do.
Okay.
I have two down here.
I have 1, 2, 4.
Okay. So, well, if you want to do we want to do this draw first then?
Do I trust myself to do that?
Or we can do the draw. Let's do the draw.
There we go. Okay, let's do the draw. Then I'll add it back to the stage. Okay. Okay, so keep typing because we are going to draw 3. So if you haven't put your name in, keep drawing. But we'll draw the next 3 now so that I don't close it out again accidentally. Okay. Okay, Catherine Snyder. Okay, and I'll draw again.
Joyce is asking if we'll be going to Flock in Seattle this August. I'd like to, Joyce. It's possibly. Okay. Brigitte
Campbell. Okay, and good luck, everybody. Here's the last one. Elaine Zeimer.
Congratulations, everyone.
Congratulations to all the winners.
I'll put that banner back up. How to reach us one more time.
Okay. Yeah, so you can just reach out at knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com and we'll send you a code so that you can go in and claim your pattern. And again, if you didn't win, go in after the fact, after the video goes up, and you can just go down and comment under the video once it's posted onto YouTube. Just leave us a comment, any comment, and we will draw 5 more prizes before the start of next week's show. I probably won't do that until like about 6 o'clock next week before we start, and then we'll announce those next week. So, and hopefully I'll have mine started by then. I plan on it, but you never know. Something else might pop up that I need to make.
Yeah.
Okay. And thanks to Nancy for, doing this fundraiser every year. I think it's a great, worthwhile cause. And, it's nice to see the community get together and actually contribute to something like really important like that.
That's right. And boobles are important.
Boobles are. So you can get your booble bobbling skills in.
That's right.
And bobbling
they're
boobles.
not okay, I'll tell you what. I'll go ahead first,
Okay.
and I'll show you the one I have. So we'll put this down. The boobles are not even difficult to do. So I cast these on last night, and here's what I have done.
Oh,
And
that looks so good.
it looks so good, right?
It looks so good.
And I just wanted to find like a really neutral, because I don't have neutral socks, and all the time they're not the most fun things to knit because we want to knit all the fun and pretty things. But then I appreciate having the neutral socks. So I'm calling these my nude boobles, because if you were buying a bra, this would be the colorway nude, some pairing of these colors. So I've got just a very basic, this is the Barocco vintage sock, which we like to work with for socks. The makeup of this is actually, it has acrylic in it. It's 52% acrylic, 40% wool, 8% nylon to hold that sock shaping. But it's so soft, and they wear really well. And then the pink, the pale pink that I'm using is one of those little Curio minis from Universal Yarn. So and I'm just going to do the toe in mine. I have found that since I wear a lot of clogs, I like the heel not to be a contrast color. I like the heel to be the same color. So that's just like a thing that I've learned in my clog wearing that I'm doing. I can't come up with words tonight. In my clog wearing expedition of wearing my hand knit socks. So I'm going to actually do the pattern a little bit different. Nancy's pattern, I'll just pull that back up again so you can see it. There it is. Nancy's pattern has the contrast at the top and then the ribbing, and then she has a contrast heel and toe. Mine will not look like that. Mine is the contrast cuff, and I'm going to do a contrast toe as well. And then when you do these little boobles, she has a video tutorial to show you how to do them as well. And it's honestly, it's very, very easy to do. And there aren't that many. In like one row, there would just be 4 boobles, and then you only have one booble row every 5th row. Okay, so it's not that many boobles to do, and it's not onerous, but it's such a pretty pattern. It's really textured. I'm really happy with it, and I think this is going to be a pair of socks that I wear a lot. So thank you, Nancy, for coming up with this. And you know what? Even her other patterns. So like maybe you've already gotten the booble pattern, but you haven't gotten her other ones. I did not make her first one, but I made the ones last year, the Titty Gaga. I wear those socks all the time. Those are one of my favorite pairs of socks. She writes a great pattern, and she's very detailed in her explanations.
This is the very first one.
Okay.
So this is the tits up. Yep. Again, a really, really nice pattern. Like she's got nice columns going down each side of the sock. So again, like if you're purchasing, I believe that if you purchase the Titty Gaga, the tits up, or the booble pattern, that will go to breast cancer until the 14th of April. So.
And she gets better every, like, not
was
better.
Was it the 14th or the 12th?
The 12th. It's the 4th to the 12th.
Okay, 12th.
Yes.
I knew it was 12th, sorry.
Her following for this event that she does with the breast cancer, it gets bigger every year because she's able to give like a bigger donation each year that she does this. So it's really great to see how, you know, something that she's doing annually is growing in the community and more people are getting involved. So
yes, because I do believe that, and I don't know if it's still on, but I know Yarn Indulgences actually had a yarn kit for it, and she was going to donate some of the proceeds from the yarn kit to the fundraiser. So Nancy's here. Maybe Nancy can clarify that, whether Deborah still has them, or because I believe they were going to be available on when the pattern released. So
yes. Nancy, you just stole my thought process completely. Be Making Joy says that she hopes to be making or doing boobles on the plane in 11 days. And all I could think about was boobles on a plane. Remember that socks on a plane pattern? Yeah, she'll be doing boobles on a plane.
Yep.
That'll be a great conversation point on the plane too, I think. Perfect.
So, okay. Okay, so again, so if you didn't win, just make a comment under the video and we will draw for the other 5 patterns next week. Okay. So my first work in progress is my test knit for the Forest City. Oh, wait a minute here. Not that. I am.
Maybe you have too many knits on the go.
Maybe I must have.
Did you lose a banner?
I must have lost it. Anyway, it is the Twisting Trail sock. It is not the Rosetta. It is the Twisting Trail sock by Forest City Knit Girls. And I had finished this one and I am onto the leg portion of the second one. So the yarn is Timber Yarns. This is the colorway Kindness Matters. And the heel and toe are actually another Universal Curio mini. I can't remember the color, but it's a tealy color that almost perfectly matches the teal, even though Heather does have matching minis. I didn't know which one I wanted to match and I wanted to start it right away, and I had this. So yeah, so I should have those done by next week. The test finishes the 20th of April, and I'm not sure when they will be out after that, but I will let you know once they are released. It's a great pattern, fun to knit. It's got the pattern kind of going down the front of the foot on each side, which makes them not matter which way you put them on. And then they go up both sides. You kind of got a double up here and a double up here. And they are toe up. And I use the Judy's Magic Cast On. And not Jenny's, Judy's Magic Cast On. And yes, it worked well. I could see doing more toe up socks. So we'll see.
Very nice. Very nice.
Okay.
You can go ahead with another one. I only have one more.
Okay, my next one is, let's see if I can get the banner up without like causing any. There we go. This is the Solja 3 vest by Lil Frostman. So this is the one that the pattern was in Norwegian and I put it through Google Translate. So I've got a couple of pictures. So there's one just showing a 3 button closure. And then here's one that just shows it kind of pulled over to the side. And I've actually decided I might even do something different than that. But okay, this is how far I've got. So I've actually got it all to the point where I've got the front and the back done and joined. So I've basically just got the trim to finish up. This is done in Ancient Arts Lasco Fine, which is 25% Manx Lockton, 75% Puntos Arenas. This is the colorway. I knew and I can't remember. It's green. But it's got a color, but I can't remember what is green. Anyway, it's like, look at the drape after I blocked it. And let me tell you, I was a little bit worried after I pulled this on and tried it on before blocking. It was a little bit like bunched in, and I thought, I don't know if this is going to work, but I thought, well, I'm not going to do anything because I had thought about taking the arms out and lengthening it. But I thought I'm going to block it first, and it actually cables open up and magic happens when you block. The feel of this now is amazing. So it's got this beautiful cable panel that goes down the back, really long, that follows almost just under your bust, like the cable detail that goes down to the waist.
Yeah, it's so pretty.
So what I'm thinking of doing, like there's a lot of patterns out now that just have those little ties. So I'm thinking of just kind of right at this line here, just doing like a little I-cord on each side just to tie in a little bow at the front of the.
Okay.
Because I don't think I want it pulled all over, because that will bug me if there's long ties hanging down when it's not done up. And I don't really know that I want those 3 buttons. So that's my idea. I'll see. I don't know. If I don't like it, I can always take it off and
that's right.
And change it up. But I mean, it wasn't hard, but I wouldn't suggest it for a beginner, because like a lot of the way the terminology translates is not the same, and you kind of have to have a good idea of what you're doing and what shaping's involved, because you're relying more. I relied a lot on looking at the pattern to see, like the pattern picture, to see what was happening as opposed to the actual instructions. So, and again, that's a matter of, it doesn't mean that the pattern's not well written in Norwegian. It's just a matter of the translation doesn't always come through exactly.
And
with the wording,
the language, yes. Yeah, the terminology,
yeah. But we'll definitely get more of this yarn. I love this yarn. So
pretty.
Cypress. is the color.
Cypress. Okay.
Cypress is the color. So
yeah, it's pretty, very pretty.
Okay.
Okay. So the other thing that I have that I worked on this week is my mohair socks. So this is, there's no pattern for this. This is just like a pattern of my own. So I already had the one done, and then I've got this much done on the second one. So I'm doing the gusset now, closing in the gusset, and then it's just the foot. And I think once I get into the foot, I think there's like, what do we have? 10, 20, 30, 40 rows, and then the toe goes very quickly. So I probably will have this one done next week. I've been using this one like at the coffee shop because I don't need to have anything in front of me to look at or anything. This is just really simple, basic knitting. But I want to talk about this. So I reached out to Jillian and Jolynn at the Mitten to see if there's any possibility of getting my hands on another 2 skeins, I guess, because I'm going to have a part skein left over. And I wanted to make a cozy classic raglan because I have the mohair and they don't have it, or it's not available, because this yarn was something that they had dyed a couple of batches of, and actually we're sending it out to people just when you had ordered something, you may randomly have gotten a skein of this. So they suggested I try to do a little underground shopping. I already checked Ravelry. I'm the only person that has it stashed, but they said to mention it, and you never know. So this is what the skein looked like before I caked it up. So I guess my question is, if anybody else in here or watching this throughout the week got a skein that they're willing to part with, I could buy you another skein, or if there's something that I have in my stash that you might like, I would be happy to trade a skein. So I'm just kind of putting it out there. We'll see if fates align and a couple of skeins show up for me, because I know I would just need 2 skeins, and I did 2 skeins for the last Cozy Classic Raglan, and that was quite cropped. So having a fair bit more would get me a little bit of a longer, and I'd probably do a split hem, something that I could wear with jeans that I would like, because I absolutely love the way this looked with like just like to go from this to this. I just think that is just amazing. I just love it. And I think this would be like the most awesome sweater to wear with jeans. So if anybody out there has one and is willing to part with it, let me know. Okay.
Okay, so Sharon wanted to know what happens to the mohair with the superwash sock yarn that goes in the washer and dryer. I wouldn't suggest it.
I wouldn't suggest that. No.
So if your daughter doesn't hand wash socks, I would say don't put mohair in them.
No.
So the washer might not be that bad if it's cool. I would not put it in the dryer. So
it might be.
I've not tried it, but I'm not thinking it would be good. Has anybody tried it? We should ask that.
I feel like it would come out looking like the hairball of a cat. I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So. Okay. So my next whip is the Oslo hat by Petite Knit. I figured since I was going to Oslo, I should have an Oslo hat because it could quite still be cool there.
It could.
So this is kind of what it looks like. And the Oslo hat now, it used to come in a regular version and a mohair version, but now it's all combined into one pattern. So I am doing the mohair version.
Okay.
So I am using, this is my first yarn, and it is, I've got the tag for it. It is Miss Babs Katahdin, and it is 100% superwash blue face Leicester wool. This yarn came in what they call a babette. So this was 1750 yards. So it's a fingering weight yarn, 439 grams.
Okay.
So there's the main yarn. And then I am using the mohair that I'm holding with it. This is Zambezi.
That's pretty.
By
That's
Fleece
really
Artist,
pretty.
Which they do not make anymore. But Fleece Artist still has a mohair. Actually, it's through the Handmaiden line now, but they do still have a silk mohair. This colorway is called Bottle Green. So when I put the two of them together, This is what I'm getting, and I love it.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
So
beautiful.
There's
beautiful.
the combination of the. So I just started this. So basically I have to knit for like 7 3/4 inches, and then it gets turned up. But I think it'll be, I just bought like a, it's snowing outside. I'm just looking out the window. I got a mohair hat and it snows.
Joanne, you were supposed to send us the nice weather from Minnesota, not the snow.
Anyway, and it's laying on my pool top again. Anyway.
Oh dear.
Anyway, sorry, distraction. But anyway, so this, I've got like a an olivey green raincoat that I just bought, like a heavy raincoat, and this has got little flecks of the olive green in it. So I think it'll be nice with the raincoat, because I do think it is going to be still have a few cool days there. So it's kind of be nice to have that. So
for sure.
And then I like that so much. I actually think I might do a sweater, not before then, but I think it might be nice to find a mohair, another mohair to go with that. And I'll have enough left to do a sweater, because it's too variegated for me without the mohair to kind of soften it out.
Yeah. But
with the mohair in there, I really like it. So,
yeah. So,
okay. And I had taken a picture of that skein. I'll show you next week. Like that skein was massive. Like I only rolled, that ball that I rolled was 162 grams. A lot of it's still on my Swift down there because my arm got tired. So,
okay.
So I'll and I took a picture of it beside a regular skein. So I'll show that to you next week to see, so you can see what it looks like.
Okay.
Do you have any more whips?
No. I'm just looking at comments now. Cheryl says, it is springtime and cherry blossoms there in Tokyo. Why doesn't she live in Canada anymore? Okay. And a comment about the mohair. Christina says, yes. She shrunk it on even a cold, delicate wash. A long, large cardigan turned into a 12-month-old felted mess. And that's exactly what I would picture it looking like, that it would come out. It would be maybe the perfect size socks for you to hang on your little advent calendar.
Yeah, but they'd be so stiff, I wouldn't be able to move them to put anything in them.
Dense. Yeah. Okay.
So I have one more whip.
Okay.
So this next one is my Papagino by Kuua Coffee. So this is my Christmas pair number 4 for Christmas 2025. And this is what I've got done.
Oh, well, that's so good. It turned out
so
cute.
My little cat with his little tail. So this is a pattern by Kuua Coffee. These are all free patterns. All of her patterns are free patterns. So this one is intarsia in the round for the little cat here. And then you kind of put on this little, attach this little piece and make a little braided tail on it. The intarsia in the round, the way she describes it, is a little bit different the way I did this. I watched a video by Suzanne Bryan, and I did not have all the loops and stuff all over the place. She has you slip stitches in certain places. So then some of the rounds you're knitting around, and then you stop and then you go back. But she explains it like step by step, row by row. So it's super easy. I'll show you what the inside of the of the sock looks like. So it definitely like is your intarsia, right? Where you kind of
tidy inside though, right? And no floats.
Yeah.
Very
so
tidy.
you don't have any floats, and like I just had like an end up here to sew in and an end down here to sew in. So you weren't cutting pieces of yarn or anything. And like her, like definitely if you're at all inspired to try it, her pattern is well written in how to do this. And it's clear, easy instructions on how to put the tail on as well. So mine is done in, this is Sand and Scarn Sisu, is this beigey color. And then my cat is Georgian Bay Fiber Co. Bayfield sock, which they do not make anymore. Like she doesn't dye anymore. But my heel and toes are Leo and Roxy from their Advent, the year that they had all the different colors of the eggs. But I really wanted the cat in the solid color because I didn't want any of these
variegation in your
variegation because I really wanted to see the wanted to see the cat. So yeah, so I'm like on the boring part now, but the toe will be done in this color.
Leo and Roxy, yeah.
And the Yeah, I would definitely say
It's
try
cute
it.
too, because
I
even the way
changed.
that the variegation is working out, it almost sort of mimics your
Yeah, it
intarsia because
has.
it looks
Yeah.
quite stripey. Yes,
Yeah.
looks
Yeah,
great.
so I just did a shadow wrap heel simply because I just wanted to see what everything looked like all together. I didn't want to do the short row and cut
Yeah.
them, and I just did the shadow wrap. And yeah, I'm happy with it. So this I was supposed to only do it to this point and then leave the rest for the plain, but I'll probably at least have one done and the second one to the point where I can.
Get past the intarsia.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll just cast on something else if I get them, if I
Oh,
get
right.
them done.
Yeah.
So, but this week I have a lot of chickens to make, so
Yes. Yeah.
I'll see. But fun pattern, definitely. I would say try it, and it's nice to kind of try another different.
Something different. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually thought it was going to be a lot harder than it was,
Okay.
and it
Yeah.
wasn't.
No.
So okay.
Okay.
So we should maybe quickly talk about our knit-alongs that we've got going on.
Yep. I'll grab that.
Okay. Okay, so we have our year-long sock make-along. So all you have to do is finish socks that you're working on them and get them into the finished object thread. We draw 2 prizes every month. One's a pattern prize, generally donated by Natalie Sheldon _remembrances.
No, remembrances
No,
_ Natalie
Natalie
Sheldon.
Sheldon.
And ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. I just have to show this off. Sarah, so kindly at the coffee shop on Saturday, knows that I struggle and say every week I'm going to make a post-it note, and I keep forgetting. And I see her writing something on her breakfast receipt. And here's what she's writing. Remembrances _ Natalie Sheldon. So
Okay.
I tucked it in my wallet. I brought it home, and I now have it taped to the bottom of my monitor. So I am forget proof. Thank you, Sarah, for taking care of me.
Okay. Yes, and the other prize is a sock yarn prize. And when we draw, we actually go back to the beginning of the year. So the more pairs you make and get in there, the more chances you have to win.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the next one that we started on April the 1st, and it runs until the end of June, is all about the condiments, because we put that bleep on everything. And that is where you get to break out those condiments. We like to call condiments anything that you add to a project to zhuzh it up. So
Yeah,
like a
this,
mohair or sparkles
sparkle,
or
mohair.
mohair. Somebody asked about beads. That would work
Yes.
too. If you're adding
Could be the suri,
the
like a
suri.
strand of suri.
Yeah.
It could be like if you're using like a lace weight like titicaca or something with another yarn.
Yes. Yeah. The project, it can be any project of your choosing. So as long as it is 50 grams of yarn, and that is total yarn, it doesn't have to be 50 grams of the condiment. It's just the whole project together has to be 50 grams minimum. And we are allowing whips if they are less than 50%. Less than, I was thinking, did I write that wrong? But no, less than 50% complete, then you can add in a whip as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I think this is going to be a fun make along for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, like my hat would count, and that little sweater that I just did for Isla would count, and Kelly's socks would count.
Yes. And Julia reminds us the Make It Tweed would count, because
the Make It Tweed
Julia happens to be doing something with the Make It Tweed. And so she'll definitely be entering in. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Did you buy anything this week?
I did not.
I just got my wool warehouse package came in. So I'll just quickly show you. They had a big sale on Bell. It was ridiculously cheap. They're practically giving it away. So I bought 3 sweater quantities. And when I say sweater quantities, sweater quantity in Bell is only 6 skeins. It's not that much. And I think I don't even remember how much they were. I think they were $1.40 in UK currency. So what would that be? Maybe $3 for us in Canada. So I just got 3 different colors. And of course the colors are not on here, but I've already stashed them in my Ravelry. So the names are on there. But this one is sort of like a walnutty brown, very pretty color. I was thinking, summer sweaters. And then I got this color that I haven't gotten before that I was looking for. It's called Petrol. It's more turquoise. It's coming up quite blue. There's like definitely a green undertone in this one. And then I got this color, and lo and behold, because I thought it's really hard to get these when they go on sale. It's hard to get like the plain colors, and I got it home and I was putting it away, and I already have a sweater quantity in this color, so maybe someday I'll have 2 sweaters. So I just got those. And then when the Drops Nord was on sale and I was buying some of that, there were a couple of colors that I was interested in that were out of stock, so I just got those. And one is, again, it's definitely, it's still blue to me on my monitor. Maybe it's not on yours, but this is more like a greeny turquoise.
Yeah.
And then I got this really pretty blush pink, which I probably could have used in those socks. That would have looked good too. See, would have looked just as good. But anyway, that's what I got. So just a little small order, but I am summer yarn ready.
Okay, so there's lots of people telling us there's sales on here. Tracy said Wool Warehouse has another 30% sale off 5 different drop yarn, including the mohair.
Tracy, go away.
And Marie says there's a 10% coupon code for Holst Garn.
Okay. Yes.
Amy 10. So not that we're saying go out there and buy it. We're just letting you know
we wouldn't say that.
Available. We're just letting you know it's available. There's been questions about whether we pay duty. I have not had to pay duty from Wool Warehouse.
I have not.
They try to keep it under like probably 100, 120, and I have not had to pay. But that's not saying that you wouldn't have to.
They have 2 delivery structures. And I don't know what the weight restriction is. I feel like it's maybe 2 kilograms or something like that, which would be about 4 pounds. And I think if it's under that weight, they can send it by Royal Air, which is always how I have mine shipped, because then when you go up in the weight class, it goes to DHL. And I personally do not have good luck with DHL. Anything that has ever come to me from DHL, I have been requested to pay duty. So I just make sure that my order is within that weight limit from Wool Warehouse, that I can get in on the Royal Air. Yeah. And fingers crossed, hopefully that's still the same moving forward, but I haven't had that issue. And there was another.
Lauren said she thought that Acme Fiber has a 20% off sale.
Yeah, 20%. And I don't know if that's on fiber or on everything, but I will tell you the one thing that I like to get at Acme Fibers is my knitting needles. And they have a fantastic shipping policy for the knitting needles as well, because when you're just looking to get, actually, because I just got these. I don't know if I got these from them, but I'm not sure where these are from. But anyway, when you just are ordering something like a small packet like this, she will just pop that in a regular envelope. So charging you, a couple of dollars for the shipping, as opposed to something that has to go through Canada Post as a parcel. So I appreciate that too. So I do really like to support her when I buy needles.
Okay, Kim, if it's not up there, we will get it up there this week. Kim asked if the new cal was on Ravelry yet. We will get it up there for this week. So,
okay, for sure. And there was a question that, speaking of needles, and I had it starred. Sorry, Sharon, I wasn't ignoring you. Sharon wants to know, what size flexi flips would you suggest for a tight knitter, please? I guess a more definitive question is, what is it you're trying to knit? Are you knitting your socks with your flexi flips? So for a tight knitter,
I knit I'm a tight knitter, but I like the tight fabric. So I do all of my socks on 2.25 unless they're heavily textured with cables, and then I might move up to a 2.5. And if I'm using flexi flips, I use exactly the same size as what I would use in any other needle combination.
But there are a lot of people, like I use a 2.25 as well, but I do know that there are a lot of sock knitters that knit consistently on 2.5s too. So if you do feel that your fabric is too tight, or the sock is coming out for smaller than what the pattern is suggesting, then I think you could very easily go to a 2.5, and that might be a good comfort spot for you.
Yeah, like I find I pretty much get the same tension on my 16-inch 2/16s as I do on the flexi flips, both in the 2.25 millimeter. So, but again, it's hard to say because everybody knits different, and some people's knitting does change up if they change the style of knitting that they're doing, or like whether they're using double points or the 9-inch or 2/16 or magic loop, or because there's so many different ways that you can do them.
Yeah.
So, okay, I think we are good.
I think we're good. We are, yeah, we're right on schedule too.
Yep.
Well, we have, and thank you, Petra. Petra says, a reminder to like and subscribe, get the podcast to 10,000. We are coming up on that number. That's a pretty big number, but we have a ways to go yet, but we are approaching it. So that would be great if you're so inclined. Okay. I think that's it.
Yeah, we want to, again, thank everybody for joining us. Don't forget, if you want to have a chance to win one of the Booble sock patterns, just go in after this goes up on YouTube and type in a comment underneath the video. You have to wait until after we're done. If you do it now, it doesn't stay there. And for anybody watching after the fact, please go in and give us a comment and we'll include you in that draw, and they will be announced next week. So check out Nancy's patterns. Again, if the breast cancer fundraiser is on until the 12th, it includes her 3 patterns from this year and the previous 2 years. That's the Titty Gaga socks, the Tits Up socks, and the Booble socks.
Yes.
So,
and even if you don't wait around to win it, if you're interested in the pattern, please go in ahead and buy it. If you end up being a winner, we would be happy to gift that to a friend of yours too. You can let us know who you would like that sent to, and we could do that as well. So if you already have that pattern.
So,
okay.
Okay, so thank you so much for spending time with us tonight. We'll be back next week. So we hope you all have an amazing week. We hope everybody's weather is perfect and you get lots of good crafting time in. And we will see you next week. Happy knitting.